Hello and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for joining me for our final card in this week's stamp set of the week, Heart Shaped, and we're off for a funky fold. Now it may not look like a funky fold and it does start off as a 8 by 5 3/4, but there's a few ifs and little bits here that we're going to change. So these are the two cards. They're actually the cards that I created during Coffee and Cards on Thursday. Excuse me. So have a look at the little reel at the end of the day. I think it's probably going down about 5-6 o'clock, and see the cards that everybody created on Thursday. So these, as I say, are the cards that we've created today, and it is a funky fold. So let me show you this one. I opened it up and you've got this beautiful designer series paper, and on this one we've got a card space inside, and on this one I haven't, and the reason for this is it just says just wanted to say, and then when I send it I'll put a card inside and I might stamp happy birthday, I might stamp thank you, I might stamp happy anniversary, so I've left it blank. So let's bring in the supplies for today's card. So I have Pretty Peacock, which, as I says, measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have a piece of designer series paper which measures 6 inches. I have a piece of white cardstock that's 3.5 by 5 1/4. I have another piece which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inches. And then I have a backing card for this, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have cut myself. I've got a piece of scrap. So I'm going to step up the version of the card that we created on Thursday for today. So I'm going to step up the card slightly. So I've got myself a piece of Highland Heather for my cutout, and then I have a piece of white cardstock which I am going to cut out some flowers on, and I do have, here it is, a sentiment, and this frame comes with the actual stamp set. So let us start, shall we? So the first thing we need to do is we're going to take our piece of cardstock and we are going to cut it to 5 inches. I'm going to go along here, go to 5 inches, like so. So it's 5 3/4 and it's 5 inches along here now. And then we're just going to cut it straight up, take this piece off. This piece is now spare. And then I'm going to move it across 1 inch. And I'm going to bring in, and I'm going to score it at the 4-inch mark. So it's 4 inches and I've scored it. Okay, and that literally is the card base. Then I'm going to bring in my designer series paper, she says, trying to pick it up. Here we go. And I'm going to cut this in 4 inches. So straight up. So now this piece is spare. I'm going to turn it to the 5 3/4 inch mark, and I'm just going to trim it along the bottom, and that bit we can throw away. Right, that is all our cutting I think I'm going to need to do now. So let's put that down without breaking everything. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to take some glue and we are going to run it along the inside of the 1 inch border. Burnish that. So with my glue I'm just going to, there we go. And I've gone for the glue rather than the Stamp and Tear because it will give me wriggle room to put this. So you're going to lay your designer series paper onto your base. You're going to bring over your half here, and then you're just going to bring it straight down, and you've got, so now your card has been created and you've got this beautiful pattern inside and you've got this beautiful pattern on the outside. So my recommendation to you is that when you choose, if you do decide to do this card, make sure that you like both sides of the designer series paper, because it is actually going to be showing, whereas 9 times out of 10 when we make cards you only actually get to see one size. Okay, so that's that section. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to bring in our 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I am going to get my heart, and I'm going to stamp my heart onto this piece of paper, like so. There we go. I'm going to hover it over. Can't actually see because of the light. Right, let's see if we can go for here. Okay, so 1 2 3, and straight down and straight up. So this is fresh freesia. I need to keep that out. I'm then going to stamp myself 3 of the flowers. Now this is one stamp, and I'm just going to turn my flowers and I'll just pop them in the middle like so. Okay, and then we can put that one away. Then I'm going to get out my pretty peacock, and I'm going to add some leaves. I'm going to add probably about 5. Just remember that when you do it, you always go for odd numbers. So we've got 1. You could, if you wanted to, put it inside. Not 2 on this occasion. 2. 3. And then maybe 1 there, 4. And then 1 there, 5. There we go. And then I'm going to bring in the sentiment "Happy Birthday" from the Simply Said, and this literally just fits on. So let's see. And straight down and straight up. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. Right, so that can go away. This is now going to get layered onto our piece of Highland Heather, and a piece again with my glue. Yep. There we go. So that's that bit. Now I have already stamped out myself some fresh freesia flowers, so they will go there, but I'm not going to stick them down just yet. Oh, no. What I am going to do is run my die through the die cutting machine, and I'm going to get rid of the bit in the middle. We don't need that bit. And then I'm going to poke this bit out, and I just need to find there it is, where I've put my pokey tool. So I'm just going to pop this out. There we go. And just pull that gently out. There we are. Now this can go over the top of here, like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach it with little dabs of glue, not on every petal. So I'm going to put a tiny bit there, miss one, and just work my way around. I'm not going to put it on every one. Just make sure that each little cluster has a bit of the glue on, so that we can stick it down. So I'm supposed to hold it now. And there. Right, let's see if I can see. You see, I've put the tiny, it's focusing on my ring, there we go. So there's the glue. So tiny, tiny pieces. And now we can turn it over and pop it on the top of our original stamped version. And as you will see, the leaves now just poke out. Obviously, if you, oops, that's do that. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could stamp your leaves after you've done this section, but I wanted them to not just appear, but also poke out from the side. Right, so the next thing for me to do now is to add my dimensionals to that piece. 1, 2. So then we'll go onto there and onto there. Take those off. And they will just pop onto there like so. So you can see that the fresh freesia is peeking through and the behind the Highland heather, and then the pretty peacock is just giving us that little spark of something slightly different, just to give it that little lift. Okay, so the thing to do now is to add our heart to our inside layer. I'm going to use that in the Highland heather. Excuse me. I'm just going to stamp that up. And then I'm just going to add that there. There we go. And then you can bring in those 3 little flowers again. And this time in Pretty Peacock. So just tap that on your ink. And then just make it swoop around. There we are. Oh no, she said sticking her finger on it. Damn. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You can see I have made a slight mistake there. I'm going to take that there. I'm going to bring in my Highland heather again. Even in the best will in the world, you don't always manage to get away with not having those tiny little hiccups. But as I say, it's not a catastrophe. It's a chance for a opportunity, a creative opportunity, shall we say. Now, if it was on the outside, I probably would have added bling, but as it's on the inside of the card, I'm just going to stamp it inside like that. And you would never know. Get that piece of paper, put that there. So as you can see, that little hiccup has now turned into a creative opportunity for the inside of my card. Give that a wiggle. Turn it over and just add my stamping seal. And then we can add it to the inside of our card, like so. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add our focal point and our sentiment. Now, my suggestion to you is that you want to make sure that you don't put, normally I would say to you, 1 in each corner and 1 in the middle. But because the cardstock is slightly more raised than the designer series paper, you don't want the dimensionals on this section. You just want them on the section that's going to sit on the DSP. So what I'm going to do is work out where I want it, which is going to be there. I'm going to turn it over like so, and then I know exactly where to put my dimensionals. So I'm going to put 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Okay, so that's where those are going to go. And I can just take that off the back, put those in my little bin. And now you know without fail that you've got your dimensionals in the right place. And then I'm going to add dimensionals to my sentiment. Now the sentiment I'm going to pop down here, but obviously you could just pop it there if you wanted to. But for this occasion I'm going to pop them down here. And again, I'm going to raise those up on the dimensionals. excuse me, 2, 3. Thank you. So I hope you liked the designs for this week's cards, even if we only did get to create 2 together. I will be back next week with hopefully 3 cards with our new stamp set of the week. But for now, this is our card. I hope you like it, and I look forward to catching up with you next week if you're available. But whatever you do for the rest of the weekend, have a lovely time and happy crafting. Take care, everybody. Bye.